what's your takeaway from a game that had so many wild scoring swings, big runs, and then opportunities to execute that just came up short tonight?
Um, Thought we did a good job battling back. Basketball's a game of runs. Thought we did a good job answering the bell. Just the start of the third quarter, that was like a big stretch, like down 20, coming out of the game can like really get away from you that first 5 minutes. So I thought we did a good job there. Being able to course correct, I thought was good tonight too. Defensively, the game kind of got away from us early in the game, and then I think we even took the lead a couple times coming up. So just defensively, we got back into our stuff, started trusting each other more on offense, and yeah.
As they aggressively trap you and blitz you, what's your mindset in terms of trying to get other guys involved and maybe take advantage of some of those opportunities?
Yeah, tonight was probably the heaviest that it's been, just in terms of like all the. I saw so many different coverages tonight, which was good. It allowed me to like kind of read the game and like figure the game out. So definitely don't take those opportunities for granted. But yeah, just trying to like find my teammates. Like I said, a lot of it was, I wouldn't say new, it was just more of it. So obviously not having Shea out there, they kind of figured they were going to throw a lot of stuff like that out there. But yeah, just trying to learn and understand the coverages, where I need to throw the ball, and how I can still like kind of like pick my spots, like be aggressive.
Joe, just on a similar note, I know the Dallas defense, their roster is not one for one with the team you played in the playoffs, but how much of what you saw tonight felt similar or maybe different from what you saw in May in terms of what they do?
It was different. They didn't really like double big us just because we were small, and I think Lively was out too. So like not having Luca, they're a completely different team. And that's not good or bad, just from my playoff experience till now. It's just two totally different situations. I think a lot of it was just like coverage wise was probably like the closest thing to that. I think again, not having like Shea, Chet, Hart, like all those guys out there makes it so much different from the playoffs. So I don't really know how else to like answer that, but just like I said, as far as the coverages and stuff, it was definitely different.
And obviously, like you mentioned, you knew this was sort of going to happen because Shea never misses games. You can imagine that pressure is going to shift onto you. I guess, do you relish those opportunities? And I guess coming into the game knowing Shea was going to be going, like, how did you kind of frame the opportunity for yourself?
Yeah, just being ready to play. Like you said, Shea doesn't really miss games often, but not trying to like, do too much, but still play within the team. And yeah, just take it as like a learning opportunity. It's a privilege to be able to go out there and like, not everybody in the NBA gets doubled and blitzed and kind of all that. So definitely is a good thing. I just feel like it kind of got better tonight. I was talking about that with E. And just like I got to do a bunch of stuff that I normally wouldn't see, and random games in January on a back-to-back where I can get better is a good opportunity.
To McMahon as well. How do you evaluate the way you handled all that, all the extra attention that you're talking about? And, like, if you're looking at this clearly as a opportunity to grow and learn, where do you see you being able to get better and benefit from that?
Thought I got to align pretty well tonight. I don't like how many turnovers I had. Some of them were self-inflicted. Looking at like a lot of the new stuff. But other than that, I thought I grew up the second half. Like I was able to like figure out where I could get to, and I think just from how I was shooting, like it's kind of easy to like stop being aggressive. So I thought I kind of fought through that, and my team also did a great job battling back. We went on runs where I wasn't in the game too, so I think that kind of eased a little bit of pressure off of it as well. But just kind of sticking with it. Like there's going to be ups and downs in a game, and I thought I did a good job of sticking with it. And there's a lot of ways I can improve too.
You mentioned all the coverages that you saw. What's the process for you to learn from those coverages and try and be better outside of watching film during the season?
When I have games like this, attack it head on and then go from there. I think when you kind of run away from those opportunities and you're not as aggressive, you don't really see the full coverage. And I think, again, it's just like understanding what we're trying to get accomplished on offense, and also not think about it too much. Like if you go into every game, like wondering what the other team is going to do, I feel like it kind of like dims what you're able to do on offense.
You guys were 11 to 33 in the paint. Obviously, without Shea, you're not going to have the same numbers. But what do you feel like was the issue with getting there? or issue converting it?
I think obviously like Gafford's a good shot blocker, so he was in there a bunch. I think just different guys kind of went in there, and that kind of is. I wouldn't read too much into it, but yeah, everybody is playing like a completely different role today. So it wasn't just me like trying to figure out, the game as well. So it's good that we were still aggressive, and that's obviously a number we'd like to be higher, but like the process of what we're doing is good.
Along those lines, Jalen, it seemed like you just had that relentless approach down the stretch, and it paid off. Like those handful of buckets, those transition plays, some really tough shots that you made. Is this one of those games where you feel like, man, one or two plays you could have got you guys on a run, or do you just feel like it's one of those games where it just felt like it wasn't your night, or not you individually, but just as a team?
I think it's hard to get rewarded for being down 20 in a game. So I can go down the line and up my game, be like I shot like 4 from 8 from the free throw. Obviously every player is going to have times where I think they should have made one shot and didn't, and that's basketball. But I think from like a team perspective, when you're battling back from 20, the room for error is a little smaller. But down the stretch, I thought we executed okay. Some shots didn't go in. Some shots for them didn't go in too. So there's a lot of breakdown of the game I think that we can all look at. But I thought we just did a good job. Like I said, bounding back from 20, and now we kind of just look down the stretch. How could we have executed a little better?
Nick, you can finish it up. Last question, Nick Curran.
You guys have been a good third quarter team for a couple of years now, but especially of late, you guys have been crushing some third quarters. Anything special, unique, different that you guys feel like you're doing at half that's giving you an edge, or like, what do you think is making the difference?
Third quarter is very important for the game, especially when you're down 20, because 20 can definitely turn to 30, and then the game kind of gets out of reach. So that stretch of the game tonight was super important, and just going from like just over the whole year, third quarters are important because it's kind of like a restart to the game. So coming out in the first quarter is big for us, and then like also not having a drop off in the third is big. And I think I specifically remember last year there was like a stretch where our third quarters weren't really good, and it was hard for us to kind of like climb back into games. So I think this has kind of made it easier for us to like be involved in games. Like obviously our third quarter tonight was huge. We cut it to like 8 or something like that before they called timeout. So that's definitely like a point of emphasis.
Thanks, Doug.
Cool.
Game some pretty wild extended runs by both teams. What's your takeaway as you kind of process all that happened in the 48 minutes?
I thought, obviously really good job out of halftime. After what was a rough second quarter or end of the second quarter, I thought we played a pretty good game outside of that like 6-minute stretch where they really opened the game up there. But we came out of halftime and made that a game and got it within striking distance very quickly and able to take a 1-point game to the fourth, which with where we were at halftime is all I could ask for.
And then, yeah, I just got this. Last, 5 minutes or so, did you think of the opportunity for guys who aren't always in maybe more elevated positions for your team to get that late game experience, to be able to take a look on tape as the way that you guys executed your system in the down stretch?
I think most of those guys are usually, are out there a good amount and have been out there a good amount. So I thought they out-executed us down the stretch on both ends. But we put ourselves in a position to try to win the game, which is all you could ask for when you're down by 20 at one point. So certainly things we can learn from. But I didn't think it was an inexperienced thing. I thought it was an execution thing.
Well, with Shea, obviously he was a fairly late scratch. Like, I guess what were the conversations like with his injury, and I guess when did you decide that he wouldn't be going tonight?
It was the exact timeline we gave you guys, right? So he was fine this morning. When he came here, he was sore, and so we listed him at that point. He wanted to go through his warm-up. He did, and after the warm-up, we ruled him out. So it was the same as what we told you pregame.
And obviously, with Shea being out, unique opportunity for Daigneault to kind of take on some of that on-ball pressure, maybe unlike some of what he's seen all season, just to the degree he received it. Did any of the way Dallas defended him feel reminiscent of the second round at all, just the coverages then?
No, I didn't think that was the case tonight. I thought it was a different game, to be honest with you.
So I guess what you see from him as far as Store game, the way he processed, just everything that came with that.
Yeah, I thought he had 5 turnovers early, so that wasn't ideal. But I thought he settled into the game pretty well, and I thought our attacks were pretty strong outside of, like I said, the 6 minute mark in the second quarter. That was a rough stretch for us, but outside of that, I thought we had pretty good attacks, generated pretty good shots. Obviously, made a good amount of them coming out of halftime. That was what allowed us to get back in the game.
Speaking of the attacks, we knew it was going to be tough in the paint without shedding best driver in the NBA. 11 of 33. What do you feel like that was the biggest issue for you guys there?
Some of it was just selection. I thought there were some opportunities, especially that second quarter, where we could have sprayed the ball out. Some of that's being available on the perimeter. So it's a combination of our spacing and then finding those perimeter outlets. But I thought we shot some tough ones in there. It wasn't all like point blank layups or something like that. It really wasn't even rim shots. I thought there was a lot of like mid paint shots that we ended up settling for. So it wasn't our best offensive night. But like I said, I was pretty pleased that we gave ourselves a chance.
So you feel like it was more you guys and what the Mavs were doing?
Well, obviously, yeah. Gafford deters stuff around the basket, and they do a good job of keeping him low and keeping him around the basket. We figured out, ways to attack that we got to on some possessions tonight. We didn't get to in others, but obviously could have played better on offense tonight.
And 4 techs, one being the flopping tech. I believe it's the most in a game in your tenure. This game feel like it had a little bit more extra animosity to it, considering this was a team that put you guys out in the playoffs?
I didn't think it was related to Dallas per se. I thought it was just more, it was a heightened game, but we've had heightened games against other teams.
What did you see with some of the turnovers in the first half?
Yeah, a little uncharacteristic for us. We're usually a pretty good ball security team, and that was a huge part of the first half. And then, I don't know what we had at halftime, but it was up there. And then in the second half, we played really clean. I don't think we had any turnovers in the third, and that gave us a good chance. We were getting shots on goal every single time. So that was a huge part of the first half, especially the second half of the second quarter. And once we settled into that and got better shots, we were better off.
Coach, just from an executional standpoint, what did you make of just those handful of possessions down the stretch? And obviously came short, but what did you make of just the way they played out?
Obviously they did a good job defensively. That we had a hard time cracking them there and getting penetration. The game usually grinds into more of a possession game at that point, and that's where execution is paramount on both ends of the floor. And that's why I said, I thought they out-executed us down the stretch of the game on both ends. I thought they did a better job forcing us to earn it, in our offensive possessions, and then they made us pay, for our mistakes on the other end of the floor with good ball movement and shot making.
And then also just in the first half, just what you saw from Osman and Dane, coming from G League and getting that big spot there, kind of giving you guys a bit of a spark there at the bench.
Yeah, I thought BC, those guys did a good job for us tonight. But yeah, he played his minutes well. He's been with the G League for 6 or 7 games now, and got himself primed up coming off the injury that he had. And so clearly, made the most of those minutes. I think he's played more minutes than anybody in our program over the last 2 weeks. So he obviously was ready to go. He did a good job in the first half.
Mark, what have you seen from Jabel's fit with the starters these last couple of games?
Say that one more time.
What have you seen from Jabel's fit with the starters these last couple of games?
Yeah, he's done a nice job. I mean, he's done what he's always done. He started so many games a couple of years ago. We kind of know what he brings, and he plays in character regardless of what his role is. But he played a really good game and was obviously a huge catalyst for us coming out of halftime. He was a huge reason why we got back in the game with the shot making and just overall intensity.
Mark, we mentioned the text, but just the number of brush-ups across the game, did it feel excessive to you at any point?
No, it was a physical game. It's just one of those, sometimes the game just, that's what happens inside the game, and that's what I thought tonight. I didn't think it wasn't anything crazy, to be honest with you.
Right. More specifically, with James Williams and Lou kind of in the first half, what were the conversations like between you and James, maybe, and I guess what did you see unfold between them that made it feel like Lou was kind of getting some of those whistles, especially early on?
I don't know where James Williams is this year, but he's traditionally one of the highest tech crew chiefs in the league. So I don't think that was out of the ordinary for him. He's a pretty quick trigger with that.
What do you think about you guys' physicality tonight?
I thought pretty good. I mean, I thought we played a pretty good overall game outside of that stretch in the second quarter. Like I said, I thought we were out of character on both ends of the floor for those 6 minutes, but outside of that, we had good control of the game. We had a lead after the first. We did a great job coming out of halftime. We won the second half, so did a lot of good things, but just had a stretch there that hurt us. But otherwise, I thought we were pretty physical and pretty good.
In games like this, where it's like a quick whistle early on, do you feel like it's tougher to adjust to the quick whistle the rest of all?
I don't think they had a quick whistle early. I thought that was part of why the physicality got high. I thought that was part of why there was a little bit of extracurricular stuff. I mean, there was a lot of stuff they were letting go that they were deeming marginal. So I actually disagree with that. I don't think the whistle was tight at all.
You're 7-1 on the second night of a back-to-back. Kind of, what have you seen from this team this whole season about responding to games so quickly?
Yeah, great professionalism, to get ourselves ready for another battle. I thought we battled all the way through tonight. I thought the competitiveness was really, really good. And we brought that again tonight. And then great mentality, and understanding, we got to use our legs, use our depth when the schedule's condensed or when we're in a back-to-back. And I thought we did that again tonight. We used 10 guys, and everybody that went in there gave us a little bit of a bump.
Anyone else? Thank you, Coach.
Lou, there's some wild score swings in this game, down 20 at halftime. What would you take away from this one, just in terms of the fight and then what you could do better execution-wise?
Yeah, it's a 48-minute game. We didn't start the game really well, but we just had to fight back and bring it back to a competitive game, and which we did. And then it came down to the wire, and then they made better plays than we did, so they got the best of us.
With Shea out, obviously there's a lot of pressure on Jalen then to be on the ball and whatnot. Just what you make of the way he looked, and I guess how much of the coverage did Dallas do at him kind of felt similar to the second round, if at all.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked real comfortable. Like I said, some of the shots that he missed is just the shots that he usually makes. So, he was leading the team, moving the ball and then doing his thing as he always do. And then, even though they was throwing different coverages at him, he was making a good reach.
Obviously, Vortex is a lot for this team. It felt, especially early on, between you and James Williams, there was just a bunch of whistles. I guess what kind of unfolded with you and him, and I guess what we were trying to get across to him early in the game?
Just some disagreement. That's it. Felt like I said something excessive to him, which it's okay. I mean, he called a text. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's a hear the game. It's a competitive spirit. I was just out there hearing up, and then he felt like I deserved a text, which he gave me one.
And I guess with as many brush-ups as there were, it felt like the guys were coming together maybe more than usual in some of these games. Even thinking back to those Houston games, did it feel like some of that stuff got excessive at any point?
We just competing out there. Everybody got each other's back. If you see a man down, you just got to go in there and help him. And then that's just what we did. It's just competition. Though. It was just two good teams, going at it and then competing.
You got the foul early, you got the flopping tech early. Was it tough to kind of adjust to the way the refs were calling the game? I mean, didn't have a foul after those two early ones.
It wasn't tough. I could just see what type of game it was going to be, honestly. And I just had to play my game and not even think about the ref. Sometimes ref can make mistakes or whatever, and then I just got to play through it. So I didn't let that affect me in my game. I think that was my 2 fouls in the whole game. So I just had to play through it and then finish the game.
For guys as physical as you are, what's the process that you're going through to try and calm down that physicality, but also keep it up to where you're not getting those fouls?
Honestly, I got to play the same way and be smart. If there's something that they saw that I disagree, I'll go talk to them and tell them that that's what actually happened or whatever, and then I just move on. But I can't let the ref or whatever affect my game. I just gotta play the way I play, and then if they see something they call it. So.
We go Paris.
You've played with Jay Will for a while now. Just what's it like seeing him get the minutes that he's getting recently and how the performances he's had?
It's good. He was real comfortable. A couple years ago, before Chet got hurt, J.O. was our starting big. So he's been before. He's used to those minutes too. So he came in there, did his thing. Shot the ball with confidence, make good plays, and then that was a good one for J.O.
And then just for your team overall, like a lot of guys saw the floor tonight, and I feel like that's been a constant with your group. A lot of different guys getting a lot of action. What does that say about this group that everyone seems to be ready when they check into the game?
Yeah, just be ready whenever they get their name called. That's the type of team that we have. The whole team, we got guys, and they always got to be ready, which they always are. So whenever they get their name called, they got to go out there and be ready.
Anybody else? Nick's got one. Go ahead, Nick, right?
Not you specifically, but broadly as the team, you guys were turning it over a bit early within the flow of the game, especially a competitive one and a physical one. Towards the end, you guys started taking better care of the ball. Like, how do you, within the flow of the game, how do you actually as a team slow down and keep the pace, but slow down and not turn the ball over? Like, what shifts there?
Just seeing the way they guard us. Honestly, all the coverages that they threw at us, just knowing where our advantages was at. So just reading the game, honestly, we started the game pretty fast. Didn't make the right decision on our end, and then we just got to regroup. Halftime, watch film, and see what we can do better, and then go out there and make better decisions.
Anyone else? Go last one, Joel.
Obviously, you found out that Shea wasn't going to play basically right before the game. That guy's missed maybe 6 games dating back to the start of last year. I guess how do you prepare to miss a guy like that when he never misses games and means so much to what you guys have done?
Yeah, honestly, as a team, individuals, we just got to play our game, you know what I mean? Not trying to do too much. Maybe some guys needs to be a little more aggressive whenever something like that happens, but other than that, we just got to play our game and really move the ball and read the defense. We got guys that can go, so whenever somebody goes down, the next one got to be ready. So, with all the guys that we had tonight, we still believe that we had a great chance to win this game. And it happened, but everybody was ready.
Follow up. That's all right. Follow up. That's fine. Go ahead.
Just you mentioned that you feel like guys could be a little more aggressive. Just when you say that, just what are you thinking of?
I mean, we have our leading scorer averaging 30 points. So obviously, we need other guys to be more aggressive. They will get some shots that they usually don't get in other games whenever Shea plays. So, just like I said, the next man got to be ready, and whenever they get the ball, they got to be aggressive.
Thank you, Luke.
Thanks, sir.